All right, with this particular problem, I'm going to be trying to graph it. It's a rational function made up of an expression and a numerator and a denominator. Now, my first order of business is going to be to factor. So what I want to do with this is I want to look at that top and see, can I make that any more simple? I'm going to factor out a 2. It gives me x squared minus 1 all over. And on the bottom, x squared minus 4 is going to, I'm just going to relieve that as x squared minus 4. Now, I'm going to take that top, and I can see I've got the difference of perfect squares. So I want to factor that further. So this top is going to become 2x plus 1, x minus 1. And the denominator is going to become x plus 2, x minus 2. Now, I don't have a number here on the front, so I'm going to fill in a 1. We're going to use that when we plan our graph. First order of business is I want to establish a horizontal asymptote. Now that horizontal asymptote is going to be taking this 2 and this 1 so y is equal to 2. So I take the two leading numbers from my factored form, and they establish where that asymptote is going to be. Now this is because second degree over second degree. If the degrees are the same, then your asymptote is going to be following whatever these two leading coefficients establish. If there are no numbers, that would be 1 over 1. Here I have 2 over 1, so I have an asymptote of y equals 2. Now, I can talk about vertical asymptotes. Vertical asymptotes, those are going to be wherever the denominator is made to be 0. So I've got this expression will be 0 when x is equal to negative 2. This expression is going to be 0 whenever x is equal to positive 2. So I'm getting that by saying, when is this 0? When is this 0? And so those will give me these as my vertical asymptotes. The last thing I want to do is think about zeros. Now zeros are whenever the numerator is 0. So whenever this expression is 0, so this x plus 1 will be 0 when x is equal to negative 1. And x minus 1 will be 0 whenever x is equal to a positive 1. So negative 1, positive 1 are my zeros. Negative 2 and positive 2 are my vertical asymptotes. And y equals 2 is my horizontal asymptote. So I can use all this information now to draw a graph. Let's do that over here. Start with your basic axis. So there's my axis. Horizontal asymptote at 2. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line across here. That's at 2. Make a little note to myself that that's at 2. I've got two discontinuities in the form of vertical asymptotes. One's at negative 2, one's at positive 2. So negative 2 and positive 2. I don't have any holes. Nothing gets canceled. So I don't need to worry about any of those discontinuities. I do have to worry about the fact that I do have zeros. Zeros are part of my graph. I'm going to add those on. So there's a 0 at negative 1 and a 0 at positive 1. Now the other advantage of graphing these zeros is they establish where things are happening on my graph. I know that as I move left to right, that I'm going to have to include these points. That I'm never going to touch the vertical asymptotes or the horizontal asymptote. The whole point of them are these are the things that I'm moving towards but not making contact with. So when I sketch my graph, I'm going to have part goes this way, like that. I'll have one part that's going to come in here and do something looks like that. And I'm going to have one more part that's going to go along there.